What? How did you get in
How'd
here?
you get in here?
What if something escapes? Close the door, quickly. All right, well, while you're here, may as well join us in the break room. I guess first off, we can start with an announcement, as we at the H.West Memorial, Mortuary, and Laboratories have a new reanimator joining our faculty full time.
Hey, I'm Holly, back again. Happy to be here.
She actually just never left. We invited her in for the one guest appearance, and we found her living in the cabinets.
I've always been here.
Nathan, I'm scared.
No, it's good. This is normal.
I'm sure she'll be a fine addition.
Thank you.
Hopefully she'll last longer than the last one.
And don't even get me started on the interns.
Well, I suppose we can pass the time talking about what we've been up to, at least until the next body comes in.
Yeah. We have anywhere that we're going to be in 2024 all together? And the answer is yes. We're going to be at Chaosium Con April. And then later in the year, Necronomicon in Providence in August.
I'm very much looking forward to that. I have not been to a Necronomicon before, but from what I hear, you folks with Into the Darkness sure do tear it up every time.
I think it'll be a good time.
Yeah. Schedules are being made for games, and I'm looking forward to both of these an awful lot. It's just such a great time to sit and get all the in-person games in.
Oh, sure. And I know, like, Holly, you've talked about running Gatsby and the Great Race as like a 10-table multi-palooza. I think 30 to 50 investigators. That's
tons of people, tons of GMs. Should be a good time.
A courageous endeavor.
I'm nothing if not brave.
What are y'all working on right now?
I've got a lot on my plate, as usual. The most pressing of them is probably Jam Ops 4 for Fists, Discord server. Fists, the game system, meaning freelance infantry strike team. The theme for this jam is the finish line. So basically, I need to finish this scenario that I've been working on. I have been working on a cult scenario set in Vietnam during the Vietnam War. I'm working right now with Golden Goblin Press for an Invictus scenario.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you. And another thing that I've just been picking at over the years when I get the inspiration is a modern day Pulp Cthulhu campaign that I have set. And it's a monumental challenge I've set for myself.
Hey, my Evil Knievel knockoff is raring to go. He's waiting.
Yeah. So like I think the small premise of it is that the investigators are all part of this investigator organization called SMITE. And SMITE stands for Supernatural Malefactor
Expialidocious?
No, Supernatural Malefactor Investigation and Threat and Elimination. So it's like I'm thinking that it's gonna be more like Fast and Furious, the Bond films. Goofy.
I've enjoyed playing what you've written of it. So
yeah, Holly got a sneak peek of the first scenario.
And was family the most important thing?
Family.
It always is.
Maybe. Can't give too much away. And then I've also been working on a Deadlands scenario that I promised Matthew Sanderson that I'd run for him at Necronomicon. And then last but not least, I have been preparing to run Pathfinder Kingmaker for Pathfinder 2nd Edition for the RPG Reanimators.
I'm desperate to play more Pathfinder 2e.
It's such a good system, man.
I've never actually played Pathfinder before. I've run the beginner box a couple of times. I'm really excited.
I am in love with the 3-action economy.
That was really clean.
I'm ready. I spent 4 years playing 1st edition, so I'm ready to see what 2nd edition holds.
It's a lot smoother, is my understanding.
Well, I'm not personally writing anything right now, but it is a resolution of mine to do so. I only just dipped my toes into scenario writing in the last year with the Delta Green Shotgun Scenario Contest. I was pretty pleased with the scenario I wrote for that, so hopefully more to come in the year.
You got great feedback from the community around that.
Yeah, it was nice.
This year I'm working on some Vesen, who knows how to say it, not me. That's some stuff. I have a small mini campaign.
You should just sneeze each
working.
time.
Yeah.
I'm working on some.
So yeah, I want to get another round of play testing with that through, kind of going for that mini campaign of about 4 hour long scenarios, and then working through some scenario writing with Lex on a creepy house scenario that really has us burning our brains.
I love a good spooky house, but my ADHD does not. As every time that Nathan's like, "Oh yeah, we need to work on that," I'm like, "Yeah." Oh, but hang on, I have this idea. Just real quick. I got to get something down. But yeah, no, I'm liking the way that it's shaping up. Hopefully it can be something that we can try running at Chaosium Con, so that way
Yeah.
Nathan and I could independently get notes on it. Hopefully it'll be fun. It's difficult to bring something not unlike House of Leaves into a Call of Cthulhu type format, but not something that is just going to leave GMs going and just improvise.
Right.
What does this look like? It's something weird. It's different. I don't know. Besides that, I have a few other scenarios that I've been wanting to wrap up, hopefully to take Matt Sanderson's advice and play test them at conventions and whatnot. One that should just be pretty short and sweet basically takes place at New Year's Eve at a Korean diner. The players would be playing the staff, and then a Delta Green cell comes in to celebrate their recent, what they think is a victory. And everything proceeds to hit the fan in a building full of sharp objects and gas burners at every table in the front lobby.
So it's just Home Alone with K barbecue.
I'm gonna use that as a tagline. You kidding me? That's great.
Okay.
A little surprised it's not a Denny's with our Delta Green history.
Well, it came up to me because this has been maybe 3 years in a row that it has been New Year's Eve, and my partner's like, I want to go out. I want to go eat. I want to go out. And it's like, well, no place is fucking open. And it's like, well, there's this Korean barbecue. Great. So we took her mom out New Year's Eve, and I was just looking at all the gas burners and empty tables and thinking, you know, what would really fuck things up in here?
If this place blew up.
If a bunch of paranoid Delta Green agents on the verge of a nervous breakdown happen to come in. Another one that takes place in a radio station. And then one I'm stuck on. I would love to make a scenario kind of based on 12 Angry Men, where the players are the jurors. And everything is just going to rely more on they can request handouts at any time. So they're going to stay in the room for deliberation, but then can pick apart details from what may not be quite as much of an open and shut case. And I want to call it Arkham's Razor because I love a good pun.
That sounds actually really cool that the players can request the handouts.
Yeah, and it's like they can get them and like maybe the handouts may change or something. I don't know. I really need to think of how to run that.
I can imagine at the table you'd have it all in like a manila envelope.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
And then like Holly and Alex, I also submitted a Delta Green shotgun scenario this year for Writhe, and quite frankly, I shouldn't have made it a shotgun scenario because it's just too darn big. As I tried my best to filter it down to that 1,500 word limit, and all of the critiques in my feedback were, it's just there wasn't a lot of detail. It's kind of too much, too little to go on. I'm like, yeah. So hopefully I can send out the director's cut, maybe post it on our website or something. And I guess besides writing, I'm still running Holly and her group through Impossible Landscapes. And I'm about to start a run of Masks with Alex as another character in that.
Our good friend Riley Kruger, who's also a Miskatonic repository writer, he's going to be running us through Masks of Nyarlathotep.
I'm really excited.
Oh, that's going to be great. Yeah.
It's always so hard to avoid spoilers, especially for the big ticket scenarios, like still haven't read Orient Express, anything like that. So be really exciting to see what all the hubbub is about.
Yeah, we're running it low pulp, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
The
Buckle
struggle. Yeah. Bring some extra characters.
Oh no. All right. Is there anything that we're currently reading?
I'm looking for maximum eye rolls is I bring out my improv books. I've been really getting into Will Hines's writing. He's a comedian from the UCB in New York and LA. And so he's got a really good sort of writing style for kind of like software nerds like me to really look at and encompass. One of the books he wrote with Billy Merritt is actually produced as like a little fable story, and it kind of walks through some of the fundamentals of improv in a pretty approachable way. So I've just been really enjoying looking at that and kind of seeing how that relates to things like Tin Candles or other very improv heavy games. On the other side of that, I'm reading some Symbaroum setting books that I found for cheap at half price.
Hey.
Holy cow, I love it. It's dark. It's so cool.
So that's
It's
another from
bleak.
Free League, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
What's the setup for that one? Because there's several from Free League that it's like Symbaroum, Coriolis, and something else that it's like, I know that those are other allegedly good games that they all blend together to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, how dark does it get?
It gets pretty dark. Think sort of haunted, cursed forest, and there's a bit of human civilization at the edge of it. There's a fair bit of interesting faction play between some people that fled basically a necromantic war, and they're pushing up against the people that kind of lived in harmony with the forest, and so they're pushing them out. And then there's the elves in the forest who are very strange, and their basic goal is basically kill anybody that gets in the forest. They shouldn't be here. And of course, you have treasure hunters that want to go in. You've got really interesting border conflicts. Looks like a pretty simple system. Looks very bleak with a lot of themes of like corruption and just low level sort of combat. It looks pretty cool. I would like to run some of it. We'll see what happens. And the opposite of that is the Ultraviolet Grasslands books and the Synthetic Dream Machine zines that Luka Rajek is bringing out. They are trippy as hell. It's like Acid Trip Oregon Trail, and they're so fun to read. And I really want to run them because it's like, oh, this city is run by intelligent cats. They're telepathic too, but that's the starting point. And then you travel out into this weird world and try and get to the end point. And he's done a lot of very just fun to read supplements. Beautiful art too. And the last, I'm reading Drama Llamas, the Kickstarter. I finally got through a few months back, and I got to the book. It's by Buttonkin Games, and it is a show about reality star drama llamas. And you basically all play llamas in this, and you have the asides to cameras. There's some interesting mechanics for actually trying to push each other kind of out of the spotlight or take the episode. And it looks fun. It's very kind of goofy, but I think it'd be a neat run.
Yeah, speaking of goofy, we should be getting Garbage and Glory in soon, right?
Oh, yeah.
I'm very excited.
Ready for it.
I love all these animal themed RPGs. I'm down.
Wait, what is Garbage and Glory? Is that like raccoons? I'm
Yes.
It's
guessing?
it is raccoon adventuring. You dive in to get loot for, like, you get trash can lids for shields, and you're
Oh, that sounds
questing.
fun.
You fight against possums and other sorts of bandit animals trying to take loot, which is just a bunch of garbage. I only read through a little bit of the rules, but it just sounded like a hoot.
Right now I've been on a roller coaster ride for reading lately, as will be pretty evident by my choices. So I started off with Tender is the Flesh by Augustina Bazterrica, and I apologize, I probably murdered that name. But it's a pretty horrific look at the meat industry, and it kind of poses the question of what would happen if meat were no longer viable because disease. And so it's the story of raising people to be slaughtered for food. And the point of view is a person who works in a slaughterhouse, and it's just like the language around dehumanizing people. It is it's a really good, it's one of those like read it once and never read it again, because it's very thought-provoking and also just incredibly upsetting.
That sounds
So,
disturbing.
I've heard it's good,
It's-
but it is really hard.
the final line in the book, just like I had to sit in a dark hole for a little while and just like regain. Yeah, it was just so it's a incredible book, but it is so upsetting. Yeah, so yeah, kind of recommend it, but like go in full eyes open. There's probably a lot of content warnings to that one. Then I turned to Camp Damascus from the infamous Chuck Tingle
For something a little more cheerful.
it is a little bit more cheerful. Tender is the flesh. But so we all know Chuck Tingle is kind of this humorous erotic novelist, but he turned to a more serious topic of conversion therapy and turned it into a horror novel that makes it's not a very hard read. It's a heavy topic, but he approaches it in a way that is, I guess, respectful of the queer community and the struggles, but also not so difficult to read that it's like you don't want to read it, kind of like Tender as Flesh. So I would recommend it. It's a good book. It's a good horror novel.
And it's up on Spotify, where they now, if you have a Spotify premium subscription, you can listen to audiobooks. I'm currently about halfway through it, I think, listening to it that way.
Yeah. So yeah, I definitely recommend that. And then of course, after those two books, I had to, swing left a little bit and choose something a little bit happier. So I finished reading some cozy fantasy books. I started with the Lattes and Legends.
Yes, I was just about to ask if you
by
read that.
Travis Baldry, and then Bone Dust and Bookshops and Bone Dust and Bookshops. It's just I needed something quiet and cozy. It's about like an adventurer basically retiring from their adventuring life and setting up a coffee shop in a little town. It's very, very cute, very cozy. I am currently reading Before the Coffee Gets Cold, and I will look up the author for that really quickly. Toshikazu Kawaguchi. It's a Japanese story about a coffee shop in which people can go and travel in time back to have conversations with people that have already died. But you can't leave the coffee shop, and your conversation has to finish before the coffee gets cold, and then you come back. So it's just basically like putting a bow on maybe the people that you didn't get to say goodbye to, or that you felt like you needed to say something to, but you can't anymore because they're not here. So I haven't finished it, but it's been a very delightful read. As far as RPGs go, I've been reading Badge Quest, which is about Girl Scouts, kind of like a horror, Scooby-Doo horror. So not intense horror. But yeah, you play Girl Scouts trying to like investigate haunted houses and things like that. It seems like a very fun, looking forward to trying that soon.
It's so wholesome.
Yes. I've been eating wholesome in my life.
No, I feel you. I do the same thing.
Not Tender is the Flesh.
Yeah.
After Tender is the Flesh, I need like a year of wholesome.
That's pretty much with me, is I read like way too many hard horror books, and then it's like, I need to reread Legends and Lattes for the third time because my heart is hurting right now.
And finally, just to put a cap on it, also working through The Blessed and the Blasphemous, which is a new Call of Cthulhu campaign set during World War II in North Africa, which I think is a very interesting setting. So looking forward to trying that out.
Nice. I'm currently reading A Head Full of Ghosts by Paul Tremblay, and I think he's Massachusetts native. And I'm enjoying the mixed narrative that it's written in. And I'm also reading The Unhappiness of Being a Single Man by Franz Kafka, which is a collection of his short stories, which are a lot more digestible than his longer works.
That sounds kind of heavy too, though. Is it?
No, it's a very humorous story.
Oh, okay, good. Okay. That's nice.
And it's only, I believe, one page.
Oh, wow.
The title story, but
yeah.
There's also a lot more of the shorter stories.
How many end up with people turning into bugs?
No.
So funny how much
none I've read so far.
I've got to ask, how are you enjoying Head Full of Ghosts?
I quite enjoyed. I'm enjoying what I've read so far. The only experience I've had with Paul Tremblay is his short story collection, "The Beast You Are," I believe.
Okay.
"The Beast You Are," and they actually were satisfying to me. It wasn't quite horror. It left me with a feeling of just like longing and feeling melancholy. I was left with moods by these
And
stories.
feelings, hate it.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll wait for your full review, but I'll take it under consideration. I have
Yeah.
heard a lot about Paul Tremblay is often talked about around horror circles, and my local library had a copy of the Pallbearers Club, and I would like those 13 hours of my life back from the audiobook.
I actually sorry just to interrupt,
Go
but
ahead.
I was at Barnes and Noble and I was looking at the horror section, and this the manager there, I think Lisa, she went up to me because she overheard me talking with a friend about like House of Leaves. And she's like, "Oh, you're gonna love this book because I can tell you're one of the smart horror fans." I'm like, "Does that imply the existence of dumb horror fans?"
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
And she just nodded her head very deeply. Like, okay.
All right. Yeah, I don't know. And I don't mean to imply that the audiobook was bad. It also used the mixed narratives, and I always love whenever audiobooks have different actors for the different characters in it.
Oh yeah,
It
that's great.
just I can't recommend Paul Bear's Club. It felt like a very long book where nothing really happened. And it relies a lot on like the unreliable narrator. Is he actually seeing monsters? Is he just a fucking loser? But like it was a lot of done.
I'll get back to you on it for sure.
Yeah, it's nice. Um, I'm currently about halfway through Just Like Home by Sarah Galley, and it's really interesting. I'm using it for some more inspiration for Nathan's house scenario. The narrator and protagonist is the daughter of an infamous serial killer who brought people back to their home and killed them in the basement, like underneath the girl's bed. He was taken to prison whenever she was like a teenager, and all the media explosion around it. Like they invited this author in to talk about it, and the author set him up as this new Charles Manson figure. And so now her mother was terribly abusive and kicked her out of the house when she was 16 and kept inviting these people in who like celebrated this mass murderer. So like now there's plastic over everything. They can tour his bedroom and like lay on the bed to breathe the same air he breathed. Like it's all weird and gross. Her mom is finally dying. And so this is the first time she's been back to her house since then. And like the neighborhood, everyone hates her because like he killed a lot of the people in the place that they're living in. And one of these fans of her serial killer dad is in the house doing a spiritual medium painting of the things in there. And someone keeps leaving her notes in her dad's handwriting. And this guest swears that it's not him. There's a weird supernatural and like the house is a living thing element to it. It's intriguing. Definitely the writing style is it's really interesting.
Sounds good.
Y'all read some dark shit.
Yeah, I kind of want to check this out now.
I got like chills.
Nice. I'll be here all day with Rex. Another one I'm reading is The Immaculate Void by Brian Hodges. This one is actually weirdly difficult to get a hold of. You need to email him and like set up a way to purchase it from there. If I recall correctly, it was a few years ago. Apparently his publisher was like funneling money off of the book, and so he had like hard stop on it, and they took the rights to the book, so you can't get copies of it easily at all. And so that's why like I had to reach out to him directly. Anyways, it's really interesting. I can't comment on it, but it's big cosmic horror in terms of like an asteroid hits one of Jupiter's moons, Europa, that no one was really anticipating. And then a few months later, Europa's gone. Like it's swallowed in on itself. And it has something to do with a boy who believed he was a plant from a planet that the sky should have been orange, who I'm now seeing another thread, was also murdered by a serial killer. And it's doing that classic thing of like all of these seemingly disparate events are connected, and really interesting in there. Getting into the cosmic horror, reminds me of Fisherman by John Langan. So I'm reading more of his short stories, His Wide Carnivorous Sky.
Great. Love him.
Yeah. And then just a huge stack of other books. Some of the recent ones that I finished, I'd super recommend for short ones. Intercepts by TJ Tyne is really fun. The government is up to their tricks again and is putting people in extreme sensory deprivation. They cannot see, cannot feel anything. They're kind of flopping around in these cells. They have to put mittens on their hands because otherwise they'll keep scratching their face until they get to the bone trying to feel something. And then they strap them in a chair and kind of Clockwork Orange blast them with all these images for like government targets. And it's a way to kind of force a little psychic connection thing. But the more that they do it, sometimes they're picking up a little bit more each time. And one of them gets loose. And it was another one, kind of, Holly, like you were saying, the last line of the book completely changed it. Like it was all like, oh, wow, this is good. Oh no. I can't spoil it.
God.
I super recommend it. It's like 200 pages. And then I just finished reading The Har by David Sodergren. Really cute old Scottish lady is living in this picturesque Scottish town that a billionaire is trying to buy up all the real estate around them to build a golf course. So the only people that are still there are the old curmudgeons that don't want to ruin the landscape. And the lady picks up a sea monster and they have a pretty fun relationship, and he needs to eat. It's extremely gory, very funny, and kind of sweet, and a little bittersweet at the end of it. I recommend, Holly, it might hit a little bit of your getting a slight break from Tender is the Flesh.
Excellent. I'll check it out.
Right, maybe switching to visual media, any movies or shows that we've watched or recommend?
Well, I happen to know Lex just watched Incantation, which is one of the ones I watched last year and really liked.
Yeah.
So, how'd you like it?
I loved it. It hit so many of the high notes that I love in Asian horror films and did them all extremely well. Like, of course, it has its highs and lows like any movie. But it did something very interesting with a sort of meta horror for the viewer. In like Ring, it's people watching the movie within the context of the movie have things happen. In this one, it's you. And I absolutely loved it. There was a really fun trick at the end of it I enjoyed.
Yeah, it's got some really good visuals. I'd agree that some of the plot is a little, it hits a couple that aren't great, but a lot of the scares are really good. I kind of was on a kick of that with The Wailing. That was another really, really good, decently messed up one.
The Wailing, I would have loved if it ended like 5 minutes earlier.
Yeah, that one went a little.
I always like a movie that leaves that kind of ambiguous ending to it, and it's just having everything spelled out. I'm like, oh,
yeah,
oh, okay.
Would have been a little stronger. I watched The Ring, and the original Ringu. Yeah, really holds up. I'd never watched them. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I'd never watched them.
I love The Ring.
I've actually never seen Ringu, and I've never seen The Grudge.
Good.
I've seen The Grudge.
Bad horror fan.
I need to watch this. Yeah, it's one of those kind of classics that I think for a lot of us, it was, growing up, that was the one hit and just missed me. I know, Alex,
you're
so
yourself,
much
old
younger.
Man.
I made my mom take the television out of my room. That movie scared the shit out of 14-year-old Holly. It was awful. Wonderful.
And the different versions are good, which I was surprised by. Is sometimes the remake isn't worth it, or then it kind of undoes the original, but they're both worth watching. They're different. Didn't feel that way about the Pulse. The original was the stronger of them, but hey, you can watch both if you like.
Can I make a confession? I have never made it all the way through Pulse.
That's okay.
I have tried watching it 2 or 3 times, and I get about halfway through it, and it's interesting, it's good, it's just really slow. And I don't know if it's
Yes.
just my poor attention span that I just
No, it's intentional. That's kind of, I think, what they were going for. It is not a shock, like, scare kind of
well, not
movie.
even that, but like there's nothing to really maintain my interest. I'm just like everyone that I don't know, people seem to be acting a little flat, and it's just
Yeah.
by the time that I'm like, ooh, this is interesting, and then it's over, and I'm like, wait, I don't know anything that's happening now.
Yeah, I liked the themes of it, but I could see, I think somewhat intentionally, they went a little flat. It kind of ties in with some of the themes that go throughout. It's worth a watch, but yeah, if you don't make it halfway through, there's at least some good stuff in the first half.
Oh
That's like
yeah,
that's kind of
the
creepy.
first part in the apartment, I really enjoyed
Yeah,
that.
and then Impetigore was the last one of kind of that run that I did that I really enjoyed, of just kind of rural horror for I don't actually know where it's from exactly, but
I haven't heard of
uh,
it.
yeah, it's a girl going back to kind of claim an inheritance in this house that she grew up in, and she brings her friend along, and the natives are all quite concerned with her, and it's a really interesting, like, fish out of water type thing that's got some really good visuals.
So wait, you're telling me this person had a relative who died and
Hmm.
left them a last requested inheritance, so they gather some friends to go to this place?
Not, it's not quite what you think in that. Not so much rich, not so much a lot of friends. It's
No private investigators?
I can't imagine it had a huge budget, but the setting is interesting. I also know, Lex, you watched Talk to Me, which I also just watched recently. Have the other two? Have you seen
No
this?
spoilers. I
No
have not seen
I've
it
spoilers.
seen
yet.
it. It's so good.
Yeah, no spoilers. It is fucking great.
Yep.
It has been my favorite horror movie of 2023. Like Incantation is a close
Wow.
second.
All right,
It,
I'll
it like
check it
it
out.
like wraps itself up in just a satisfying, succinct, like whole story with potential for other movies.
Check it out.
And that's, yeah, Matt Sanderson was saying that there have a prequel and a sequel in the works, which I think that they did excellently well with it, because they drop you right in the middle of things. They hint that no one really knows how it started, and so there's plenty of room on either side. And something that I absolutely loved with it is it didn't explain the things were happening in the plot, and it trusted the viewer to figure it out. And so
Mhm.
whenever someone is getting fucked with, you be like, whoa, wait a second. And then now you can see the actual sort of the things that are going on. And
Yeah, you gotta pay attention.
yeah, really loved it.
Great A24 film. I know that the
Yeah,
directors did like YouTube first.
Yeah, this was their first movie.
Interesting.
Like,
see
it's
that.
such a
Yeah.
strong debut.
Awesome. Check it out.
Yeah, it's shot really interesting. Has some. It ties kind of the main premise in with some interesting themes that I think hit home pretty well to drug use, that sort of thing. That it was really interesting. But speaking of noticing things, I'm also watching Poker Face. I think it's on Peacock show with Natasha Lyonne.
Is she the actress from Russian Doll?
She
Yes.
is,
Okay.
yes. Yeah, she's great. If you liked her in that, you'll like her in this because she's kind of the same
Nice.
character. She's Natasha Lyonne.
Smokes a lot, talk
but
really fast, and got that little voice. Okay,
yeah,
great.
but it's kind of like the whole premise of it is she has the ability to tell when someone's lying. She always knows. If she sees you face to face, she knows if you're lying or not. She doesn't know why you're lying. She doesn't know exactly what it is, but she's got a bullshit detector. And she's really not a genius. Like, she's an okay detective. So the setup of all of the episodes, and I won't spoil any of the plot, is you really get like the first 10 minutes is the murder. So you see it, you know exactly who did it, how it was done. They seed in a lot of clues, and then they go back in time a little bit, and you get to see how Natasha Lyonne's character fit into the background, and you never really saw her, but she knows usually the person that got murdered, and then she has to solve it. and it wraps up. It's episodic, so there's a long plot, but it kind of keeps it moving with the murder of the week. They're super entertaining.
For me, I just finished watching Fall of the House of Usher, and my God, Mike Flanagan did it again. What an incredible show.
He can't
No
keep getting away
spoilers.
with
It's
it.
good.
No
I need to
spoilers
watch
to
it.
Alex.
It's really
You
good.
have
Watch
to
it.
watch it. A non-spoiler kind of easy premise is that it tells the story of the fall of the Usher family, with each episode being dedicated to one character and their downfall, and each story is a different Poe story. So like the Black Cat makes an appearance, a Telltale Heart. I won't go into any further, but yeah, so each one of them is a different Poe story in itself, which was incredible, and I loved it so much.
And they did a great job with those stories. And also something that was really fun, if you enjoyed, or if you were also an edgy teenager and read a lot of Edgar Allan Poe as a theater kid in high
Yeah,
school,
me.
there you go. You're going to pick up on a lot of really fun references they have
Yeah.
sprinkled throughout. It's like the name of the company is a character in one of the stories. Again, not getting into spoilers, but there's tons of stuff in there.
Yeah, I went through a deep dive because I didn't read a lot of Poe. I found him kind of laborious, which I know is a hot take. But
How dare you insult my edgy high school self that had a crow
so I
notebook?
I had a really good time going through and like seeing the things I missed, because there are like stories within stories too. And I was like, oh, I didn't even know that. So yeah, amazing. Watch it, Alex, as soon as you can, so we can all talk about it, please. Other than that, finally finishing The Last of Us. It took me forever to finish, which is insane because it's such a great show. I love it so much. I loved the video game, which was incredible. Nick Offerman is amazing in it.
And shout out to his Emmy.
Yeah, good for
So
him.
happy. Absolutely.
Everybody's
deserved it.
good in it. It's just such a great show.
Mhm.
Heartbreaking and wonderful all at the same time.
I still need to finish it. I did that thing where we watched up until we caught up with the weekly release. And then I was just like, oh, I'm just going to wait until they're all released.
Yeah.
And the enthusiasm
it's difficult.
died. And yeah, I think I'm stuck at like 4.
It's so much the game itself was so good. I can't bring myself to play the second one because I know how it ends, and it's like I'm not ready for that. It's been years that I'm like, I'm not ready for that heartache, so I can't do it. The Expanse, working my way through that, trying to finish it out this year. Incredible sci-fi. If you've never seen it, it's a really, really good sci-fi. Well, I would say it's a political drama that has a sci-fi backdrop to it. So if you've never watched it, it's a very, very good show.
That just makes me want to watch Battlestar Galactica again.
Have you seen The Expanse, Lex?
That's another one that I have watched the first season of The Expanse 3 times because I'm like, okay, I need to follow along because something's important, and then my attention wanders.
You can't look
and then
away.
I'm like, what
you
the
gotta
fuck?
pay attention.
And yeah, it's
it demands your full attention. And also just a little shout out to Cocaine Bear, which was a dumb fun movie. Like, it was silly, but it was funny, Nothing special, but I watched it recently.
That's got to be a premise for a scenario, right? Like, somebody has to have done a Cocaine Bear Call of Cthulhu scenario.
No, all you need to do is do Honey Heist with cocaine bears.
Oh my God. I'm just imagining what a cocaine Shoggoth would do.
That's your next con game.
Cocaine Shoggoth.
Oh my God.
Maybe.
Yeah, no, Nathan already picked my top 2 favorite movies to talk about first, but a couple of others that I really, really enjoyed. I finally watched The Void and wholeheartedly recommend it. It's, if y'all have not seen it, it is I think it was in 2017 or 2018 and completely flew under my radar, but it is prime cosmic horror. It has tons of body horror. It's fucking weird. It's like John Carpenter's The Thing with a bit of Event Horizon and some Clive Barker thrown in. It's absolutely nailed it. Really enjoyed it. And then in terms of a less in your face, really fun cosmic horror, I recently watched When Evil Lurks, which is good, but also hard in a very different way. And I think something that it's, between When Evil Lurks and Incantation, Nathan, some of the other ones that you had talked about, is I really like with a lot of these foreign films is really exemplifying that less is more.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like there is a scene, I won't get into spoilers in When Evil Lurks, with a dog, and there is a sound that comes after it. You know what's happening off screen. There's no gore, but it is traumatic to hear. And like also with, you know, incantation, just like seeing that there is something happening off screen and letting your imagination do the trick to it. Oh, so good. But
it does a lot of good. Just when you think like, oh, that's scary and messed up, it immediately raises the stakes again and punches you. It's really good with the 1-2.
The biggest thing that I'll say, just as my little caveat to When Evil Lurks, is the protagonist is a dumbass. Don't expect to watch it and be like, oh yeah, they're going to figure it out. It's like, I recognized about halfway through it is you're sort of watching a tragedy unfold, and the main character is a fucking dumbass, and you are going to watch him ruin everything. And
it's basically like he's a player in a game.
But sure.
Yes, correct.
A player.
Playing 10 Candles.
And then another one that I thought was different. I watched Pontypool the other day for some more inspiration on another scenario. Essentially, it's a small town radio station doing daily broadcast, and they get these odd bits coming in that people are behaving strangely. They're moving in packs. They're all crowding around these buildings, barging in. Then they start killing themselves and each other and reaching through and ripping themselves apart. And they keep repeating things. And like, not getting into too much of spoilers for it, it was a really unique premise for contagion and spreading that overall the movie was enjoyable. It was another that felt like a low budget film, but you know, it was entertaining. I just feel like they didn't quite stick the landing and it needed a little more time in the oven.
Hard agree.
Yeah, like the ending was kind of like, okay, but doesn't detract from the uniqueness of it.
I heard it was good, so that's definitely on my list.
It's worth a watch. I don't think it was too long of a movie either.
It's super short. It's like an hour. It's really short.
No, that's not bad. So the films I watched recently was another A24 film, The Iron Claw, which is like about a wrestling family, the Von Erich brothers, and it's actually super depressing because but it was a good film. It was well done. And I also saw last year Old Boy in theaters because of the release of the 4K just special edition, and I believe it's on Netflix now. Old Boy is one of my all-time favorite films.
I know you talked about how much you love Josh Brolin in it.
No, not that one. Not the 2012. Do not.
I also saw it in theaters. It's a good movie.
Don't watch it with your family.
Yeah, no. Don't make the mistake I did.
Alex, you gotta stop. Like, you gotta start watching happier movies. Both of your ones here, they sound like downers.
Yeah, I've exquisite tastes. Well, what else? So what are we playing this year? Either just video games or tabletops?
Just recently ran Morkborg. And Lord, I want to play more of that and more Cyborg.
You didn't kill me, Nathan.
That's why he's got to run more. He's got to
get him
do it
next time. You'll get him next time.
I'm so angry. Every time I go in, I go, I'll be brutal this time. I'll hurt them. And my players just roll their dice. And it's like, 12? Never seen it. Never even close. 19, 20, 18.
Ooh.
Ridiculous. Also prepping to run some more Vesson because it's a great system. Great setting. Love it. On the other hand, prepping for Impossible Landscapes and giving myself a slight heart attack. That's coming back on. It's been like 6-7 months since we last played. So yeah, it's a brutal time. The recap alone, I'm worried about. And I have players messaging me about their new characters and stuff they want to do. And this is a 20 balls in the air juggle type thing here, but I'm excited for it.
Who's doing the recap? I know I'm in your game.
You're doing it, Alex. Good luck.
Yeah, it's you.
Holy shit. Dude, I can't
I was
wait.
assuming I'd do the recap because it's been It's been way
Please.
too long. There's a gap of time where it's just like,
Yeah.
I assume you remember nothing and we're going in blind, and that's fine.
We need to finish it because I can't wait to read it,
I
and I
know.
can't wait to run it for my own home group.
I feel exactly the same way.
I'm sorry.
It's not your
And the last one, yeah, speaking of like cozy things, we talked about Wander Home. We've been playing a little bit of that.
Yeah.
It's very nice to just have a low stakes, what are we going to do this week kind of game.
You
No
say
prep,
that,
low
and then we had
stakes.
the blacksmithing village where everyone had died in a war, and it was depressing as hell.
At least there's no prep.
Yeah,
Got that going for you.
That's why it's low stress.
Yeah, very
know,
nice. It's a very nice game.
It's very Ghibli that way, though,
Yeah,
right?
for
Is
sure.
Even in that, like, yeah, it's depressing, but you have heart to hearts. People change. It's great.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to more Wander Home. We need to get a game going.
Our last game accidentally turned into Honey Heist, which was good. It was
Yeah.
fun, just in a different way.
Yeah, different vibes. I'm ready to get back into it. On my end, I'm running a Cold Fire Within for my local players who are really enjoying the pulp. It's not, we're coming off of Two-Headed Serpent, so it's a little bit different vibes, but we're still, we're enjoying it. We're having fun. We're taking advantage of the psychic powers in the pulp rules, so
What
it's a good time.
What's the times that's set in?
30s.
Okay.
Also in the 30s, yeah. Playing in Lex's Impossible Landscapes, and like Alex, I am eager not to hurry up and finish it because I do want to see it to its natural conclusion, but I would love to run it for some people that I play with, so dying for that.
And doing it better, yeah.
Because I cannot stop myself from sad, depressing content. I tried out Bluebeard's Bride this past year with Nathan and Alex. Pretty heavy topic, but I appreciated kind of the different mechanics of the game and just the ideas of how you play it, and the actual content and what it covers is very interesting. So I want to play more. It
sticks with you. Yeah, that one really stuck with me for a while. I still think back kind of on some of the way it ran and mechanics. Yeah. It's like
it's difficult for a GM. We'll have to do like an episode on it. It's hard on the GM because it's almost 100% improv on the GM's part, so it can be a very difficult game to run, but it's very interesting.
Morgan did a great job when he ran it for us.
He did.
Like I can't forget the scene he did, like the bathtub.
Oh yeah, that was incredible.
Yeah.
On a lighter side, I've been working my way through all of the Nancy Drew video games, which are incredibly fun and lighthearted, investigative games that, they're written for like teenage-ish. If you set it to like the hard difficulty, then it's actually a decent challenge. And I've had a good time with it. They're fun. There's a bunch of them, and they're cheapest chips on Steam. So
nice. I've also been playing some video games. I've been playing Lethal Company, which is...
How is that? I've seen a lot of just wacky videos pop up on Instagram.
It's so goofy. You're just playing as this minimum wage first scrapper who's just going into these like horribly monster infested abandoned factories in order to just pick up scrap for like dollars and to bring them back to the ship and the scrapyard to get the money. And there's just all manners of just horrible ways to die. Like there's like landmines, automated machine gun turrets. There's this thing that like just looks at you, and if you don't notice it, it'll just sneak up behind you and just snap your neck and drag you away.
Oh, the PT. Okay.
Yes. The best thing about it is that it's meant to be played with local voice. So your voice is going to be projected in the environment. It echoes in the hallways. And when your neck gets snapped and you get dragged away, you'll be like, oh! And then the players who are with you look around. They just shit their pants because it's horrifying.
Yeah, because it cuts out your audio along with it.
Yep. I have also been running Pathfinder 2nd Edition's Adventure Path Abomination Vaults, which is a mega dungeon for my home group. And I've been using the Foundry module, the official Foundry module with like built-in battle maps with like multiple layers, and it's just beautiful.
Yeah, I'm running that too for a local group, and yeah, that Foundry module, amazing.
Yep. It's got built-in lights. It's got like upper layers and bottom layers, so like you can see your token go underneath the cobwebs and like the overhanging arches.
Music when you approach certain things, like it'll
Yep.
play the sound of something breathing.
Yep.
I've
I'm
had
using...
players a couple times go, "What is that? What is that?"
Yeah, I actually got the Foundry module for Kingmaker too, so expect that same quality when I run it.
Nice.
Well,
Heck yeah.
Unfortunately, I have not had the time to play video games. I think I've been reading too many fucked up books, which I mean, I guess kind of good, kind of bad. I'm looking forward to having a chance to run some more Cyborg because I have an addiction to buying expansions and adventures for Cyborg and Morkborg online. If Christian Eichhorn publishes anything, instant back. I have an unhealthy stack of books I'd like to go through with there. It's Nathan ran us through Cyborg. Oh gosh, last year? It's been a while. And I absolutely love the system. I think that it's a little beefier than Morkborg, but also the characters are a little beefier, so you have some more staying power and can kind of invest in your PC a bit more. The rules, while they're a bit more, it's because there's more things that you can do, but they're all very straightforward. They're all really simple. And I mean, generally, if you don't know what to do, roll a d20 and then make something up. But yeah, absolutely loved it. If I can really get into it, I feel like it would be a great system to run Cyberpunk Red adventures with because I hear a lot of critiques about it, and I think that Cyborg can be a great kind of general cyberpunk system. Alex, I promise I'm gonna run you through Alien Chariot of the Gods one of these days. I need to get it done.
Oh, we just have so much on our plates right now.
Yeah. And also, adding to the list, need to do some Brindlewood Bay. I really want to play more Bedlam Hall. Holly, I still need to get back in touch with you about the wedding scenario.
Yes, let's write it.
Yeah, because it's going to be real fun.
Nice. Is there anything else we're looking forward to this year, 2024?
I am ready for True Detective Season 4.
Me
the
too.
setting looks awesome. The cast looks awesome. So, yeah, super ready for that. Comes out very, very soon.
Is Season 3 worth picking back up on? Because Season 2 hurt me. And I just have not followed back
The
up.
hierarchy of True Detective right now is the best by far is Season 1, which is incredible.
I would doubt you if you said anything else.
Season 3, solid, but, doesn't compare to Season 1, but solid. And then Season 2. So.
And then 4 that is yet to be released. And then Season 2.
Yet to be
Looking forward to seeing what 4 is.
Yep. Looking forward
other than that,
to it.
Conventions. We've got the 2 that we're all going to, Necronomicon, Chaosium Con. I've got 2 board game conventions I'm going to. I'm so excited, y'all. It is going to be a great year for gaming. I'm very excited.
Very nice. Yeah, I'm really excited for Chaosium Con this year because it's happens to be nearby where I live. And so we bullied Holly into finally getting a ticket and coming up to it.
You did.
So I'm really excited. We're going to try and run an in-person game of 10 candles and take some of our advice from an episode that may be coming out before or after this release, depending on how quickly I edit things. Yeah, no, I'm excited.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to trying out new great food in the greater Boston area. I had at the end of the year, I had this 18-course omakase, which is like a Japanese style 18-course meal where the chef hand makes the food and presents it, and it was amazing. So I want more of that.
That sounds like an all-day thing.
Oh, it was 2 hours. It was 2 hours.
Okay.
Because each dish, right, is just one piece of sushi.
Oh,
but
I see.
It's so decadent. It's so good.
That sounds really good.
That is one of my high point memories is before starting grad school, I backpacked around Japan for about a month. And that was one of my goals as I went to Tsukiji Market starting at like 6 a.m. and it was already packed. But I managed to do the same, getting an omakase from one of the sushi vendors there with the chef just making it each one as they came. And
they do
that
it right
was
in front of you.
Oh, so good.
Yep.
Well, I'm really looking forward to cons, just like everybody else. It's going to be a blast. We've had fun at both of those. So, really just doing a lot more gaming and making a dent in all these Kickstarters I keep backing and games I keep buying. But I won't actually make a dent. It'll just keep piling up.
Especially if we keep emailing each other with new links, because it was, what was the one kill
Mechs and
engine?
Cyborg.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh my God, that looks so cool. Getting fucking kill bots in Cyborg that you can drive, like getting mechs in it. Yes.
So what I'm really looking forward to is just getting more bookshelves. I don't know where they're going to fit in the office.
I have to
but...
buy a new one. I have to buy a new shelf. It's already overcome.
Do y'all have any New Year's resolutions? I know we're a little bit after, but our first recording session, really.
I am going to run a 5K this year, and then as a reward, I'm going to get a tattoo sleeve.
Do you know what you're going to get?
Sick.
I am going to get some tarot cards, the entire Court of Wands.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's cool.
And then another resolution is I want to go to Taiwan with my mother, because she hasn't been back to Taiwan since she immigrated here to the U.S.
That
sounds
sounds
like
really
a
nice,
great
Alex.
trip.
That'll be fun.
That sounds really nice. In the same vein of travel, I have plans to go to Peru this year, go to Machu Picchu. So looking forward to that. Like Alex, I have tattoo goals too. I have a half sleeve I'm working on. I need to actually finish up. So, and play some things from the flood. We did a lot of Tales from the Loop. I've had a lot of those games under my belt. It's time to check out the darker side. Time to check out things from the flood.
And by the time you check it out, you might be able to like follow it up with Electric State.
Yes, that'd be cool.
It's full life. This year, my resolve to play more games. Specifically, I'm looking at public access. We've had a lot of fun playing those. I know it's kind of out now, and I just really want to get some more of those done, and maybe, God willing, actually do a campaign of it. And I just want to do more of the It's Alives. We've had a few of those we've gotten to play, a few we've gotten to publish, and they're just so much fun. I love playing games with y'all. And
that's wholesome.
I know it's terrible. That's a horrible.
He didn't even say most of y'all either. Like, wow, that's really nice.
Was it not implied? Oh, okay.
I can't wait to record more episodes, more podcast episodes.
Yeah, yeah,
it's gonna be fun.
And I need to write more Diggleby stuff, more Professor Diggleby showing up and doing things. I have some vague ideas, but I just always have so much fun coming up with them and then just playing around with people. If I'm really smart, I'll have something ready for a con, and we can actually engage in some in-person Diggleby stuff.
Yeah.
But no promises. I don't know if we'll make the luggage.
I really hope that you have them in time for Chaosium Con, because I love the mental image of you having to go through checked luggage and TSA and they pull all of these puppets out. Sir?
No, I can't lose him. I can't check him, so he has to be in my backpack.
I just like, I want to be on the periphery when I see people that we've never played with before, like their faces when you just pull up a Diggleby puppet in the middle of a Call of Cthulhu game.
That's a good point. I should run the intro one of that.
You should
at the con. Okay, that's I'll
and then wear an RPG Reanimator shirt when you do. That's how you turn heads.
I want good publicity.
Do that
Come
for
on.
a Chaosium Con.
Yeah, do it.
Should.
Okay, I'll do it.
So I think it'll be a little difficult to host some con games at the actual Necronomicon.
Yeah.
My resolutions are nowhere near as fun. I'm working my way through the first year of my postdoc fellowship, and in addition to writing a bunch of scenario stuff for fun, trying to write a lot more academic stuff, get all the stuff from my dissertation actually shipped out. I just got to revise and resubmit on one article, and I've got 2 others that are under evaluation. My resolution, or at least my goal, is I want to try and send off 1 article each month this year as a minimum, and trying to get more publishing that way, in addition to doing stuff for fun. Like Alex and Holly, I also have some goals for tattoos. It's just the downside is all of the artists that I really love are out of the country. And there's several in Ontario that I'm probably going to just try and like book appointments with 2 or 3 of them, and then just like make a weekend trip up there to get a couple of
And
different.
drive up there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I also want to take this time to just say thanks to everyone who's taken the time to listen and checked out our YouTube page. We've been having a blast these last few months doing these discussions and playing games, and just stay tuned. We're going to keep doing them because they're just so much fun. Expect more It's Alive actual plays, more interviews, more just discussions of scenarios. It's so much fun to run through them and then talk through them. I'm hoping we can get some guest GMs in there too, because we just have so many talented friends.
All right, break time's over. Get back to work, you slackers.
After having several outpatient visits, we've decided to just bring her on to the staff full time. Oh my god, what sound was that?
She
Flag it,
broke the
flag it,
vial.
flag
She's
it,
killing
flag
me.
it. We're back to 3, baby.
That's really how it goes. I have to kill one of you and take your place. Lex is out. Holly is in.
Uh-oh.
Until next time.